Hey everyone, Brennan Snyder here. How are you? Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to another episode of New Music Finds. So this is where I like to collect together all the different albums that I've picked up in the past week and present it to you, give you a little bit of background on it, short little review, that kind of stuff. I've got 7 CDs here this week to run through with you, and I get them from different places like my local record store, but also online retail like Amazon, eBay, and more. We'll jump into that here in just a bit, but before we do, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things help support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by subscribing, you'll stay up to date on really cool episodes just like this with New Music Finds. So as I said, got 7 CDs here to run through with you. We're going to start off with new releases, and first one up was a big one for me, at least. You can see I'm wearing a Pink Floyd shirt here. It's the new Roger Waters, the Lockdown Sessions. That you see it there a bit better. Kind of a cool cover there, obviously taken during the actual lockdown where there's nobody on the street. At the time I was living in New York City, and I got some photos like that, which is just really crazy because usually, as you can imagine, New York City is hustling and bustling, so see it absolutely dead. Not a single person on the street was absolutely crazy. But anyways, a photo like that, there's the back side of this thing, and we'll even crack open the inside of it. There is a booklet with it. There are 6 tracks on this thing here, and I have to say I had a lot of hope for this thing, and it just didn't do it for me in the end of the day. I'm a bit disappointed with it. The versions were not as reinterpreted as initial press releases and things had led me to believe that these things were really stripped down or reinterpreted or that sort of thing. In fact, really the only one that is different than what you would expect is the last track, Comfortably Numb, and they do title it as Comfortably Numb 2022, and I had initially thought, well, wait, why aren't they doing that for the rest? And the reason being, they're all pretty straight ahead versions of those original tracks. So there's some Pink Floyd songs on here. There's also some solo Roger Waters. It's a nice mix. If you're just looking to hear some new renditions, it's cool. I like that they're live in the studio. They're not live with audience and all of that. So cool, but it did just kind of let me down. I was really hoping for a lot more. Roger Waters is known for redoing and updating tracks various ways throughout the career of those songs. That didn't really happen here, though. Have heard that he has recorded or re-recorded the entirety of Dark Side of the Moon, and that those tracks again are very different or reinterpreted. Nick Mason even heard it, said he liked it. So hopefully we're going to get that. I'm kind of hoping that's by the end of the year as part of a celebratory thing for the 50th anniversary of Dark Side of the Moon, which is happening this year since it came out in '73. All right, next new release that came out. This one here I was not expecting to enjoy as much as I have. The new Buckcherry Volume 10, 10th studio album from them. 10 tracks plus 1 bonus track on here. They do a cover of Bryan Adams' Summer of '69 on here, which I happen to really like. I think it's very fitting. It's a nice way to end the album. I would stand out too much as a cover if it were in the middle of it, so it's nice that we get all 10 of the original tracks, and then this is tacked on as an 11th bonus track. And like I said, this thing here really grabbed me. I just like Josh Todd, sorry, forgot his name for a minute. Lead vocalist, I like his vocal style. He's always very high energy. The music, the same thing. If you're not familiar, Billy Rowe of Jet Boy joined the band for their last album, Hellbound. Now he's still on this one here. For me, at least, that's an added bonus. I'm a glam metal fan, so getting him as part of this group, I think, adds a lot to it. And I've really enjoyed the last album and this album. So if you've haven't checked them out for a while, I do recommend checking out the new Buckcherry. I think it's very, very good on here. In fact, two of the tracks I highly recommend checking out to sort of break that flow but create some nice peaks and valleys in this. Track 5, Feels Like Love, and track 10, Pain. They are the slower, more ballad type songs, but they're very, very good and very different than other types of Buckcherry songs that we've heard in the past. I think that's one of the reasons that I'm enjoying it more, is there's a little more variety on it. Okay, the last new release that I picked up was a new live Hollywood Vampires. This is live in Rio. It's back in 2015, so it is not present day, but it's very cool nonetheless getting this. There's no booklet, unfortunately, right? Did you just see that? I was kind of bummed. I opened this thing up and there's no booklet behind that. But you get the DVD, you get a CD that's in this. They tell you the 4 main guys that are in it. And of course, if you don't know and didn't just read that, Alice Cooper, Johnny Depp, and Joe Perry of Aerosmith. Now, the cool thing is the backing guys that are in this, Duff McKagan and Matt Sorum, Guns N' Roses, Velvet Revolver. What a lineup. Predominantly all cover songs on here because this was done off of the first album back in 2015. So they do throw in Train Kept a Rollin' is on here. They don't do any other Aerosmith. I really actually expected to hear more Alice Cooper and Aerosmith thrown in. They do Billion Dollar Babies and School's Out. They do Train Kept a Rollin'. But then they do a Rolling Stones song, Brown Sugar. I don't think that was on the covers album, so you do get that as a bonus on here. Okay, not a brand new release, although I think this came out in 2022, Wildness. And this one here is called Resurrection. So if you're not familiar with these guys, they are out on the, I point to that because every Frontiers Records album has one on it, but I really should have been pointing to the label for you guys. I can't say I know much about these guys, but if you watched last week's episode of New Music Finds, I got Nestor and Roadwolf. Both really great newer rock bands. Nestor is a real sort of a cross between glam metal and melodic rock, everything you can imagine that you wanted, the best of both worlds in there. Put that out. Roadwolf is a bit more AC/DC sort of / Judas Priest style, but just great rock and roll nonetheless. And while listening to those, my iTunes suggested this to me and I checked it out. It's very close to the Nestor style of stuff, a sort of big bombastic melodic rock over the top kind of sound, but being done by today with new younger band members as opposed to ones from 30 or 40 years ago like we're usually used to listening to. So really good. I do recommend it. Wildness. Check them out. They've got a bunch of albums out, but that was, I think, the newest one and just actually the only one that I could get off of Amazon. I think the other ones are all out of print. So sort of like Roadwolf. I was able to get their latest one, but the album or two before that out of print, I couldn't get those. Okay. So that was the new stuff that I ended up picking up, but I also made a trip to Sound Exchange. As you guys saw, I filmed a What's New at the record store with Anthony, and if I'm going to be at the store, I'm going to pick some stuff up. So I also went through the used stuff and I found some cool things in there. First one up, Best of Foghat, but this is volume 2. I've been looking for this for a while. It's been out of print. I've had volume 1. So, you got all the hits and everything that way, the full for the city and that kind of stuff. But this is like everything else. And because I know all the hits so well, I like getting what I consider deep cuts, even though they might have been a single at the time or something of that nature, or popular within the live repertoire of the band or whatever's making it considered, the best of volume 2. It's not the stuff that I know. So this is just a great album to throw on catalog wise. And I discovered some new gems from the band. In particular, track number 4, Step Outside, 5, Dreamer. I like both of those tracks. I think 3 of these are CD only bonus tracks, one of them being Step Outside, the track 4. So if I'd had this on cassette or something back in the day, or even the vinyl edition, I wouldn't have gotten to find that really great track. So I love getting things like this. Got it as a used CD price, so that made me very happy. This is a very cool one, and not one I would have expected to find in Anthony's used section, and I've been looking for it and found it a few times, but sort of eyeing it for the last 30 plus years. It is Jane's Addiction Live and Rare, a Japanese only album, 10 tracks on this thing. But it's got remixes, demos, live, so it's got like Been Caught Stealing a remix on here, which I have to say I actually think might be better than the original Had a Dad demo. I absolutely love this demo version better than the studio version that's on Nothing Shocking. There's an LA medley on here with a bunch of tracks. It's live. The only thing I don't like about this is track number 2, Had a Dad, is a demo, and then track 4, Had a Dad, is live. I really wish they would have put that all the way at the end or something. I don't like songs repeating, even though one's a demo, one's live. But they've got 3 Days Parts 1 and 2, and it just goes on. A bunch of other demos and live tracks, 10 total tracks on this thing, all very cool for used CD price. Still has the inserts and everything with it. And the last one that I picked up, a promo for Mindfunk. No insert because it was a promo. There's the back side. First track is off of, I think it's their debut album that came out in '91, which is Touch You. But the 3 tracks that come after that are all unreleased, or at least they were all unreleased at the time of this. So 2 through 4, previously unreleased. It's a demonstration, not for sale, right there. So I had to pick it up to get those 3 unreleased tracks. I like Mindfunk from back in the day. Their band I highly recommend. They kind of straddled, the more rock, but also the alternative rock. And so while they technically probably should be an alternative rock and that sort, I've always kept mine in the glam metal section. They're not really a glam metal band, but the 1991 era when it first came out was still part of that. And I was seeing it on shows like Headbangers Ball and stuff that were playing all the glam metal and metal. So I totally associate it with that. That's just how I choose to file it. But Mindfunk, check them out, really good stuff. And so there you go. There's the 6 releases that I picked up this past week and have enjoyed very much throughout the week. Hopefully you guys also got some great stuff and are enjoying it and so forth. Let me know the things that you picked up. Maybe you found something in here you want to search out and so forth. All right, everyone, take care, have a good one, and I'll be talking to you real soon. Bye-bye.